What is a falling leaf? It is not where it was. The nature of a falling leaf is to become something else. Nature has all possibilities, each something new. The falling leaf still falls. The leaf never lost its purpose. The falling leaf. That was a proverb that I wrote last year, and it was about going through a change where your life is never the same afterwards. So because I wrote this, I can explain it and try and break it apart and look at it from the perspective of the person who wrote it. So what is a falling leaf? It seems simple, but it's a leaf that is no longer where it was. It's not where it was. The leaf grew out of a branch on a tree, and as it grew, it got bigger and bigger, and it got to experience life, the seasons, the sunlight, the rain, the wind, the animals. It got to move with the tree, swaying back and forth. It got to feed the tree by generating energy from the sunlight, and also contributing to the breathing of the tree. But something happened. At some point, the, the leaf that was once up in the tree broke off and started to fall. So the falling leaf is no longer a leaf that is part of the tree. It's almost like it's lost its way. Its whole existence has been completely changed. Everything changed from being in this one place and part of this collective, and then suddenly broken away. See, the nature of a falling leaf is to become something else. The falling leaf has gone from being a leaf as part of a tree to becoming something else. And so what is that something else? It could be any number of things, because nature has all possibilities. It could fall onto the ground and become leaf litter and compost, becoming the soil, becoming part of the fungal network of the earth. And while it's there on the ground, no longer a leaf, green and living, it's changed, but it is still living. It has a new life now, and it can be any number of things. If it's on the ground in amongst all the other leaves and branches and fruit that's fallen, it could become like a shelter for an insect to 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 be part of its world, as there are many insects that actually live amongst the leaf litter that exists on the ground. As the falling leaf gets caught by wind, it could go a little bit further and it could land in a stream of water. And by doing so, it could find its way down the stream till it meets a point where there are other leaves that are all stuck together, caught by rocks, where the stream becomes slowed. By being stuck again, it's not stuck. It's actually its new home for a while. It's become something else. It's become part of the nature of the river. And the leaf now, it serves a different purpose by working with the other leaves that are stuck together at this point that filter the water. They help take the dirty water and make it clean. So as it goes down further, it's cleaner. It could have gone a little bit further and not got caught in that same place, but also been in the stream of water and slowly sunk to the bottom of the water, where it becomes food for the animals and insects that live in the water. And it's minerals and nutrients that are in the leaf are now part of the water. There are so many things that a falling leaf can become. It becomes something else. Just because the leaf has lost its purpose of being in the tree doesn't mean it's lost its purpose. But that doesn't mean it it's not affected, because the falling leaf still falls. It still lost its original home, its place where it came from. It will never be back on the tree again. But in its change of position, its new life, it's gone from having a single place and a single purpose as part of its original home and life. And it's like it lost that place. And now it's forced almost beyond its own choice. So the falling leaf has no real choice of where it becomes, what it becomes, sorry, and where it goes. But wherever it goes, it has a new home. and it's doing something else. It's doing something new. And almost in every possible outcome, it's benefiting the life around it, the people, the insects, the animals, the birds. So the falling leaf that's fallen from the tree is now any number of things. It's lost its original place. It's devastating, but it's not devastating because when the leaf was on the tree, it couldn't go anywhere. And even on that tree, the leaf was where it grew. And so it could have been that when it was on the tree, it was on a lower branch and it couldn't see around it. It couldn't see the landscape around it. So it never really even knew where it was. But it was only when the leaf fell and was moved by the wind and landed somewhere and had started its new life that it got to experience something better or something new. And it could have been a leaf from the very top of the tree, and it lands down at the very bottom. But that doesn't matter. Even if the leaf falls down into the dark place in behind the other trees where it doesn't see much sunlight now and is now stuck in a pile of leaves, it's still serving a purpose where its new life is becoming part of a new family or a new collective or a new group. And it might remember being part of the tree and being green and shiny, and it might remain, it might retain memories of where it was. But if it's forgotten where it came from, that doesn't matter anyway, because it's in a new place. And so when the leaf falls from the tree, it in a sense dies, but it's not dying. It's always becoming something else. And whatever it does, it's going to be nurturing the things around it, whether it becomes food as it breaks down, the insects eat the leaf and it becomes part of the insects. If it breaks down and becomes part of the fungal network and the leaf litter and the soil, it becomes the earth itself. If it falls into the stream, it becomes part of the stream. And so though it's not, it's the sad thing is it's never going to be a leaf on a tree again. But that doesn't matter because now it has its new life. And there is a disparity that it's some new versions of its where it's going to be, like its new life, could be more interesting or more exciting than others. But in reality, whatever it becomes, it's about the same as any other possibility. So wherever it falls, it's going to become something else. And so my understanding and perspective of this is that in life, you have things happen that are beyond your control. And then at some point, things change forever. And that your only way to exist is to deal with wherever you end up. And some places might be more difficult than others. Some places might be dangerous, or not necessarily dangerous. Like a leaf might fall and land and get to rest in a certain place for a long time, close to where it came from, where it can still see the tree that it was once part of. And it could be feeling like it's stuck or tortured, but it's able to still see the tree, and the tree's still alive. So even though it's not part of the tree anymore, it's able to connect with it by being near it. Whether it gets eaten by animals, whether it gets insects and broken down, becomes part of the soil, it's new life is interesting. It's amazing. And what it is it's a new purpose. When the leaf was part of the tree, it had one purpose. It had to be part of the tree, and it was nourishing the tree, and it was part of the tree. But once it falls, it the option for it to become so many other things opens up all these possibilities, which, though it's like the death of the leaf, you can look at it like being exciting for the leaf, because it has a new life now. And instead of just being part, so the leaf on the tree contributes to the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. So the whole everything around it is breathing in and out with the tree, and it's part of that. But when it goes to its new place, which could be any number of things, it opens up a whole new family, a whole new community. If the leaf is on the ground with a pile of leaves and a fire comes through and burns it, the leaf goes through another death or another change. But then it becomes the ash, and the ash becomes the fertilizer for the soil. And going through the burning process, it feeds the trees around it as it releases its carbon dioxide. So the trees around it can then breathe it. Maybe even the tree that it came from. So what I'm trying to say is that when things happen in your life, at some point, it's not the end. It's actually the beginning of something new. And that it's like a new adventure. And once the leaf has broken down and become part of the soil, a new tree will emerge from that soil. So it becomes part of a new tree by being part of the soil. If it burns and then becomes part of the air, it then gets part of the trees around it, and then those trees then breathe out and then become part of the animal's breath around it. If it falls in water, it becomes part of the water, and either way, it's never lost its purpose. And so for me, it's my way of saying major changes in your life that can't be taken back or can't be changed can be seen as something that are a whole new thing, and that there's always opportunity for something new, and it's never wasted. Like, whatever the leaf becomes, it will always serve a purpose for the nature around it. So it's not a it's sad, but it's not a sad thing. It's sad to see the falling leaf. It's not on the tree anymore, but it's not dying. It's not dead. It's just becoming something new, something else. So that's my explanation of the proverb and what I like to think about when thinking about dealing with what's happened to you or the cards you've been dealt. Because there's always something new, and it can be exciting. And the purpose is never lost. So just looking at the chat. Hey, Marina. Good morning to you too. Thank you for listening. This is really great. I've got shivers right now reading these comments. So yes, nothing is wasted. I'm glad, Marina, that my live stream has been able to connect to you and you're able to hear me saying this stuff live. And it means a lot to me, this sort of proverb that I've written. It's very personal, but it's like I channeled it because it was like the universe. It is the universe. And when I go out into nature and I sit and I'm amongst the trees and I'm looking at everything around me, and the wind blows and leaves fall from the trees, and you see a leaf falling. So whenever I see that, it reminds me of the meaning behind it. And I guess a big part of what I was trying to say in that proverb is that the falling leaf still falls. So there is something very traumatic about the transition from being part of the tree, living and growing and thriving and being part of a community or a family. And then one day, for some reason, it all changes. But it's a new life. And there's a whole world out there. So I wasn't going to make this a very long stream today, because I think talking about something like this, you don't want to go on about it for too long. And it's something that you can think about and meditate on. I'm sure anyone who hears this will see falling leaves and they'll think about it, and they'll see the leaf on the ground, and they'll think, oh, is there a little insect living under that leaf? Or they'll think about what it's doing, because nothing's wasted. When things change, they become something else. So I appreciate anyone out there that's helping me on this journey, and I'm finding this very positive and productive for me to be doing this. So I'll keep doing it, and I'll keep talking about my experiences, and I hope to be constructive and uplifting. So thank you.